I got to know Deane. It was an interesting thing 17 years ago.
I got to know Miss Bonner through church. We're members of the same church, Pleasant Grove Missionary Baptist Church here in Marietta.
Well, it's been several decades, and I met Miss Bonner through her active in community involvement.
I got to know Deane when I was leading the community relations effort at Lockheed Martin.
Well, I got to know Deane, it's been well over 10 years ago.
I got to know Ms. Bonner about 1.5 years ago while I was a judicial candidate.
I met Ms. Bonner about 2.5 years ago.
So I first met Deane about 20 years ago, and it was as I was getting active in the community.
I met Deane Bonner 10 years ago. I worked for the Coca-Cola Company.
I met Deane Bonner about 10 years ago when we invited her to become a member of Kennesaw State University's President's Community Advisory Board.
I met Ms. Bonner in 2010 when I was first running for the State House.
I met Deane Bonner in the early 80s when I came into my position as CEO of Girls Incorporated.
You know, after 17 years, things do change, but my first impression was correct. She had a good moral code. She had an excellent understanding that any two fools could fight, that solving problems were much better than creating and talking about them. And Deane was a person that if she gave you her word, she would keep her word. And people of their word are invaluable.
My first impression of Ms. Bonner was wow. And so now when I transition from Ms. Bonner to Deane, I have a deeper appreciation and respect level for her.
You definitely see her even before you hear her.
When I first met Ms. Bonner, what stood out to me is that this woman means business and she is going to get it done and that she is relentless. And that impression has not changed at all. If anything, it's just strengthened.
I mean, I think her impact on this community is almost too big to understand. I mean, the first time that I really got to spend time with her was at what they called an annual Women's History Luncheon. And she had invited me, and it was the first time I got to hear all the history and all the things I thought I knew, but in depth, all the accomplishments of the NAACP. And it's also the day I became a lifetime member of the NAACP. That to me is the kind of effect she has on the community. It's bringing everybody together, no matter who you are, where you come from, what you do, and treating everybody the same. And it, like I said, it's had a huge impact on my life.
And I attended the MLK Junior Day ceremony over at Turner Chapel. And Ms. Bonner was actually the MC. She spoke, she made an award presentation to the SCLC. And I remember just being impressed about the fact that she publicly sort of made a call for unity and I guess dispelled any beliefs that there was a divide between the two organizations. And I just remember being very impressed with that.
As a person who cared about her community, about uplifting values such as equality and justice, which have been a consistent theme for her, about caring about the importance, about articulating the importance, among other things, of education, for example. She just came off a 9 years on the board of directors for Chattanooga Technical College, and even there you saw her desire to make sure that access was provided to as many students as possible to help their own lives and their families' lives and their futures.
One thing people don't recognize is that people in positions of power and influence don't often have people around them who will tell them the unvarnished truth. Deane Bonner is one of those rare individuals who will speak truth to power. And that's something that people in positions of influence need if they're going to make just and righteous decisions.
You know, I heard her speak her truth, but she did it respectfully, and she garnered that respect with some of the most powerful leaders in not only this region, but in this country.
But I think many of those community leaders recognized her as a leader and wanted to work with her. And so I think it was mutual. I think to be a leader in this county, in the region, and the state, Ms. Bonner is someone that you want to reach out to.
When history is written, they'll say all of the above. They'll say that she was a freedom fighter. I want to say she probably is one of the original ones here.
She engaged in not only just the cause of the NAACP and civil rights and equality and justice, but wherever she plants herself, she did an awesome job. She was totally in, all committed.
Fearless fighter for civil rights, but loves her family. Loves her family to a fault, every last one of them.
I met Deane and her husband about the same time. He's always been engaged in the community. But I think her highest priority is family first.
I value and appreciate her commitment to her husband. You know, Jesse, we know Jesse like we know Deane because Deane always makes sure Jesse is present.
Her passions are the love for her family. When you love your family, I think you have to make sure that your community is right for them to grow and flourish.
Deane's family and all of her children and grandchildren should be extremely proud of her as a warrior. Nothing short of that adjective to describe her.
I'm emotional because I think about what I want to leave my grandkids. I want to leave them a good name. I want people, when they hear the word Lee Ryant or Deane, I want my grandkids not to want to swarm and get out of the room. I want my grandkids to feel good about that name. Deane left them a good name. That's the one thing that I want my grandkids, not to be shamed, not to feel bad. Deane is leaving her grandkids a good name.
Well, I think Deane is an all-around diva.
My fondest memory of Miss Bonner is at the Martin Luther King celebration at Turner Chapel when she walked in with this red leather coat to the song in the background saying, "War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing."
One Sunday when I was visiting her church, unbeknownst to me, it was her church. I was actually just visiting. And I was sitting next to someone who needed some comforting. And as I just sort of looked to my left, I saw that there was a hand on that person's shoulder. And when I turned around and looked, that hand was attached to Deane Bonner. And she was simply just giving comfort and support to someone who needed it at the time. And I just remember thinking, wow, you know, my impression of her was that she was this fearless woman, but at that moment I got to see the gentler side of her.
Deane and I were on stage doing the, what's it called, the Cupid Shuffle, and I was amazed at how tired I got and she was still going.
Have we ever gotten her to do Dancing with the Stars? Don't we have that in Cobb County?
I was at the VFW club to meet with Deane, and Deane always called me over. Her husband Jesse was at the VFW club, and the electric slide came on, and I got up and did the electric slide. And Deane couldn't stop laughing. She laughs probably now.
Thank you for giving of yourself. Thank you to your family for sharing you with us. And thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for all that you will continue to do.
Miss Bonner, it's such an honor to be able to address you on your special day. I love you. I've been so honored to be able to walk with you in the fight for justice and equality in this county, and I look forward to many more fights with you.
Although I don't think for a minute that you're going to drop out of my life, the college's life, the community's life, you're going to continue to be there in one way or the other. I'd say to you, you should take a lot of pride when you look in the mirror and you think about what you have done and what you continue to do. A lot of pride in the values you have articulated, the way in which you have done it and interacted with other people, that you have moved this community.
You know, life moves on and history has a way of going forward. As I look back over my career and I look back over my life, I'm just so thankful that you were a part of my family's life, Evelyn and I, But I'm also thankful that you chose to take the high road, that you also chose to represent those that may not have been represented, that you did it with courage, you did it with respect, you did it with dignity, and most of all, you're about one classy lady.
I love you, and like I said, I still want to be just like you when I grow up.
But what I want to tell you is, other than the gift of life, the more precious thing that you've given me was my freedom. You call me your freedom fighter, but you are actually my freedom giver.
We love you, appreciate working with you. Even though I've changed jobs, I'm still going to be there with you because you and I work together on so many great things in the community.
You are such a light to the community, even in times where it seems like it's getting dark. Your light continues to shine.
Deane, you know I love you. Words cannot express how I feel about you. I appreciate the way you've mentored me, you tutored me, you talked to me. You always make me feel like I have a place in your life, not just professionally, but personally. You care about me, and I care about you.
Please continue to fight the good fight and know that you are loved. God bless.
Happy birthday, the happiest of birthdays to you. I am so glad I get to celebrate your birthday with you one more time.
I am so glad that we have been friends all of these years, and I'm so proud that God has given me the opportunity to know you. And I tell you, they say we pay our rent on earth through our service to others, and you have definitely given service to others.
You've been a role model, you've been an advocate, you've touched my heart in so many ways on a personal level. I just want to thank you for all of the opportunities that we've had to serve together, to work together, and for me to see your leadership as yet another manner of leading in the community.
Deane, on behalf of myself and my family, I just want to congratulate you on this celebration. I want to tell you how much you mean to me and what a difference you've made in my life and how much I love and respect you.
We love you.
And thank you for all you've done for me and Cobb County and the world as a whole.
So best of luck, love you, and stay young.